Hey y'all, it's Nisha Mars here for another weekend special of Coffee, Chix, and Comics. And to save you guys the earache of hearing my voice the entire time, I brought to you my two partners, also the creators of Trapper, Mr. Lee E. Johnson and Mr. Leonce Hall.
What up? What up?
Hey guys!
Yeah, we are
What's
here.
going gasoline here?
What's going
Happy
on?
Saturday.
Truly, it is a happy Saturday. It's gorgeous down here in Texas.
What's the weather like? Right now it's windy, sunny, and 50 up here. So
50? I don't know. That's
I
where I
mean,
live
in
in the South.
Cleveland, that's like our
I know.
happy springtime cheer.
Balmy and breezy, 80 degrees in South Texas.
Okay. Uh-oh. Where'd a buddy go?
Like I said, what'd you do, my brother?
I didn't do it. He did it to himself.
Well,
so, hopefully he'll be back. We'll have to wait and see. So what's going on? What's good? How is Houston this time of year? You ready for Comic Palooza? What's going on at Gulf Coast? Give us the 411.
Okay. To answer your questions in the order that you asked them, yes, I am ready for Comic Palooza. It is we are approaching that time. Comic Palooza is Houston's comic convention. It's a big deal on Memorial Day weekend, right as we are winding down the school year. I teach during the day. Right as we wind down the school year, we'll be jumping into that. I've gone many years as a spectator, and last year was my first time as an exhibitor, and that was a wonderful experience. So yeah, we are excited about that. That is one thing that's happening. At Gulf Coast Cosmos, the shout out to Gulf Coast Cosmos and Byron and Jeff and the whole crew down there who do a great job of making sure that we have some community as comic readers, not just comic readers, but comic readers of color. And not only that, they make sure, Byron in particular, makes sure to support independent comic creators. I just came by there just for a visit. Last weekend, he had a shared creator space where independent creators, writers, artists, visionaries of all kinds got a chance to come together and just kind of share ideas, share resources, build community. It was a wonderful time. I'm looking forward to the next one, which will be next Sunday. Yeah, man, it was awesome. So today was just a Saturday, and I happened to drop by, and he's having a sale where back issues are being sold for 50% off, up to 50% off. So I was able to grab a whole bunch of books for the comic book club that I have at my school. So that's what I've been into. It's a funny thing, man. I've always been kind of a satellite comic reader, like kind of on the fringes, kind of, seeing but not really paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
Let me rephrase: looking but not seeing. That's what I was looking for. But ever since we got serious about making comics and doing the work that it takes to make comics, I have been reading more now, likely than I ever have in my life, and I love this. I've always been a reader, but being able to like read these stories that are accompanied by these amazing images is dope. And I think that for every comic I read, that makes me a better writer. So I am really, really excited about some of the things that we're going to be doing this year and in years to come, as far as putting stories together and taking folks on a ride with us. So
speaking of that ride, so behind me is the Trapper promo image, which will now be released on t-shirts, mugs.
Yeah,
we're working on hats, but I don't know. It might be a different image of them. But I also got my new Trapper mug in.
That's gorgeous.
It is pretty dope, I have to say.
That is gorgeous.
So it looks almost 3D, so it's really cool, and he's on all three sides of it. So
very, very nice.
Cheers. What's next for Trapper? I mean, you do have Trapper 3 that should be dropping sometime midsummer or early fall.
We are. It is. It's on the grill. We're gonna put it together soon. So before we get to what's next, we can talk about like what we've seen so far. So far, we know that Tyree Tufts is is a blue collar worker. He's a single dad. He's taking care of his daughter, who's in middle school. We know that there's a gang war that has been raging in the city that he lives in a coastal California city. We know that those two sides of the gang war are both kind of infringing upon Tyree's space in particular. We get to see that in Trapper 3. When we get to Trapper 3, we'll see exactly how close to home these street cats beef is kind of closing in. And we get to see how Tyree responds to the danger that's kind of creeping in on his front door. So that is what is next. And then after that, I mean, I think there's a lot more that we're going to see from Tyree and from some of the things that he discovers, some of the connections that he makes along the way. So I cannot tell you how excited I am to get this third issue out. I think it's a fun story. I think it's a fun story to go along with a lot of the other fun stories that we have going. I am excited, I think is
so I think we got to see a little bit of Kaya in the first one as it opened, but we get to explore a little bit more of her attitude and spiciness of being that 13-year-old, responsible 13-year-old in the second one. So what do we get to see from Kaya coming up in the third one?
Well, the third issue opens with Kaya and her very particular fashion, her particular style of negotiation. Her and her dad are discussing some things, and I mean, it's hard, being a girl dad, and you get to see some of that from Tyree. But again, they're a wonderful team together, and I think it'll be an interesting and an entertaining and rewarding moment to open up the third issue. I had fun writing it. I know that. And I mentioned before that I teach middle school, so a lot of the attitude and personality that you get from Kaya is very often informed by the experiences that I have on a daily basis with early teens in my career. So yeah, you get a chance to see more of her this time around, in the beginning and in the end. You'll dig it, I think.
And I know we introduced last year at Comic Palooza, we did introduce with the postcards Table 23, which was a Kaya short strip that kind of explored her day-to-day activities at Table 23 while she's in school. So will we see any more of that comic strip, or do you think it was a one and done for you? Or he's asking the guys, y'all.
The answer to that is yes and no. We are gonna get a reimagining, a revisitation, a reimagining of Table 23. I am not sure if it's going to last much longer. The reason being, the artist who has taken over that title is a talented young cat guy, Brandon. Shout out to Brandon P. He's a talented cat, and I think that Table 23, as fun as I think it is and could be, I think that might be a more of a seasonal sort of endeavor, because I'd like to get the artist onto something else that could give him a lot more room to flex his muscle. So
for sure,
that is the concept right now. Like, I think I'd rather for Brandon to be on another title. But I'll say this: if there's enough kind of push from folks who are like, we want to read more about Kaya stuff, then by all means, baby, we've got the scripts, like they exist. we can produce that. But I think our flagship title is an Natura, I think our stories and our art serve that primarily. So I think putting Brandon on one of those supplemental titles kind of feeds that vehicle better. But I mean, if the people demand, more Kaya, then by all means we can adjust as necessary. So.
All right, guys, you guys have heard it from Leonce then. So if you like, share, and subscribe this episode of Coffee, Chix, and Comics, Also in the comments, say you want to see more Kaya, more Table 23. We'll give it to you. Lee, you're back. Are you joining us?
I don't know what the heck just happened. I just got hit with like some electromagnetic pulse, something.
Solar flare.
Solar flare. Real talk, like my laptop battery died just now. Like,
okay.
So I'm working between my laptop and my iMac. So my camera on my iMac is saying it's being occupied by something. So I'm trying to figure out what that is to get on video. However, I'm back. So
well, I mean, at least your voice is here, which means that you can answer questions. You can still be a response. And if you didn't remember what he looked like, just rewind about 5 minutes ago and you'll see like briefly before he just went blink. So, hey, I got a question for you. How many of you guys watched the solar eclipse this week?
Yeah, I mean, I was in it for, it looked like a rainy, dark day here in Texas. So it kind of sucked for us here in San Antonio. Other than that, I was in it.
It was cloudy here in Houston.
Yeah.
And I was in class. So
yeah, you guys weren't directly in the viewing, were you?
The totality.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, we were in the totality. So we caught it. It got dark, but it was just like a rainy day for us. Like, oh, okay, that's the eclipse. All right, it sucked for us here. Thanks, Texas. And here's what's so sucky about it. Like, here's the sucky part about it. Any other day of the week, any other 99.9% of the days here in Texas are normally hot, clear, sunny days. Normally. That was the one day it's just cloudy all of a sudden. Like, here you go. Just be cloudy.
I blame El Nino.
It's completely El Nino's fault.
Well, I guess that would be the one day that our actual weather flipped because it was 75 here. It was sunny. It was blue. The clouds were chirping. There were about 3,000 people in the park where I was. There was a DJ going. It was gorgeous. And then when it was lights out, everybody was screaming. Kids were running around with glow sticks. People were still ordering their coffee from the food trucks. But yeah, we got to see it and party in it, and it was a monumentous occasion. I mean, my kids actually, well, my brooding teenagers kind of slept through it. They did not want to be outside, and it was their day off from school, so they kind of were just like, yeah, it's a,
Yeah, it is what it is. Yeah,
but yeah, my 9-year-old definitely enjoyed himself. He was like, that was so cool. And I think the coolest part was actually when you got to take the glasses off and literally watch the moon be inside the sun for like 2 or 3 minutes. That was the most. And a lot of people don't talk about the things that are happening around it. Everybody's focused on the eclipse itself. They forget that like it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Normally when it is sunshiny and everything, it looks like it's 10 o'clock at night. Clear skies, you can see stars, beautiful orange horizon from a sunset. There were all kinds of other things that were actually going on with it. So we were definitely excited to take in all of that.
That's what's up. I'm glad.
Yeah, something to write a comic about later.
Quite possibly.
So Lee, you are the man of the drawing hour, as we already explored and talked about this awesome trapper behind me with his full vine exploration expansion going on. And we also mentioned that design is now on a mug and is on the black t-shirts for our 2024-25 sales year. What else are you drawing, sir?
I am pretty busy with a lot of stuff, as you always kind of know. I'm always into something. But I'm currently now working on an issue. Hopefully, I would have done prior to San Antonio's superhero car show event here. If I'm lucky enough, maybe I can get some advertisements out there around Comicpalooza. But it is a Lycos kind of mini-series arc. It's kind of a special edition piece. So it is taking us a little bit away from the main title arc, just a little bit. or the main story arc, but it's introducing what you want to call a anti-hero of sort or a villain of sort. I don't know what you want to call him, Leonce. What do y'all?
That's a good one. I read him as a villain.
I read him as a villain too.
Yeah. He's not play well with others.
He does not. So I am in the midst of drawing that issue. It's a little mini series, but it's a action-packed, no holds bars kind of rock'em sock'em issue. So it's gonna be super fun to draw that issue. But it shall be out hopefully before June. The name of the issue is called Pledge of Allegiance. So cross your fingers. Hopefully we'll have it done before then. Issue was written by one Brandon Bell. And it'll be illustrated by yours truly. So
we know if it's written by Brandon, there's going to be a lot of action.
Correct, right? So Brandon is all about the action right out the gate. So we're going to showcase that in his full glory and totality. Using that word again in my lexicon. There you go. So the full totality of this issue will be Rock'em Sock'em, and it'll be good to see Lycos up against somebody that is, a match for this cat, man.
Yes.
So far, so good. Like he has been taking on guys and drug lords and whoever, and nobody's been able to kind of come up there and kind of put some pushback, So he's going to meet his match this one. So we'll see how he handles it and go from there.
Nice. So as we are still talking about our own titles, and I have you both here, I want to go over our 2023-24 top 8 countdown for our first 8 issues, and which one's ranked from bestseller to worst seller. And as I mentioned the titles, or should I? Maybe I'll do it in reverse, from worst seller to best seller. And as we mentioned the titles, maybe give your highlight, your best moment of that comic, and maybe what you would like to improve about that comic going into.
I hate saying worst seller, best seller. I just want to say maybe.
All right.
Like
best seller and better seller. How about that?
Well, no, I just want to say, okay, all of our issues are really good issues to me. And I feel my brother feels probably the same way, but I feel like, okay, let's just say, people just weren't exposed to the character as much as they should have been. Like, I hate to say it was like Lee Seller, but
all right. So coming in at number 8, we have Hurricane Ida.
Correct.
So
my thing with Ida is
over that title, right? So
So I'm taking over that title. I plan on carrying on the legacy of Heather and her, direction with the character, and I want to make sure that I do her justice. But I mean, there's a lot of things in Ida's like lexicon that she did. Like she didn't get a chance to get a lot of shine on it yet, and I think she's got like a pivotal role, and I love the direction for her, and she's kind of. Not a girl boss. I want to say I hate using that word because I think it's so played out, but I think she's just got a lot of potential that we haven't even got a chance to unlock yet, particularly with her, just her side journeys and the drama that's going on with her, the love triangles that are going on in her little bitty life. So if we get a chance to kind of show that stuff and then show what she's, what she's made of and kind of showing you that she's not one to be kind of trifled with, man. So I think that issue alone, it was one of our really well drawn issues. Like it was super well drawn. Just people didn't get a chance to like really grasp it and kind of take it home and kind of enjoy it and see it as much. So I want to change that for us. I want her to be kind of on the forefront for us and going forward, and so people kind of pay attention to her a little bit more. So that's my goal for it anyway.
All right. So. And to be clear, her name's Ida. I've been calling her Ida the whole time.
It's Ida. Yeah, it's Ida. And I think we've kind of went back and forth correcting ourselves throughout the year. We started off calling her Ida, and then, Heather corrected us and said, no, it's Hurricane Ida.
Ida,
and
because she's
then
Japanese.
we dropped the hurricane part of it, and the story, the main concept that we do want to understand is that it is Ida. That's her name, and the story is about her, and her power is the hurricane. But
okay, so to echo Lee's point, the art is fantastic in that piece. Also, the runway into the action that kind of establishes that Ida is a family oriented character. Like the reason that she's able to resist and kind of push back against the danger that shows up in the story is because of her love for her family. I think that's dope. I think that that family motivation shows up in several of our titles as far as motivations for characters. And I think that one is a good illustration of that. The villain that shows up is captivating. And I think that, and especially given, like you mentioned, as the story moves forward, we put more pieces of that story together. I look forward to that unfolding in the same way that I look forward to Ida's powers sort of, and her using them blossom. So in that particular issue, the art for sure and the impact of the villain's reveal, I think is stellar. I don't know, as far as what we can improve. It's hard to tell what I'd say what we can improve on, and because it was really just the turning of the first key and getting us into the story. So it's, I don't know, it's hard for me to call yet. Give me 2 or 3 issues in, and then we'll nail down something else that we want to improve. But right now, I think it's a great start. It's a really great start. It's right out of the blocks. So yeah, too early to judge.
all right, coming in at number 7, we have Lycos.
Agree.
Say it again, Nish.
So coming in at number 7.
So Lycos.
You go, bro. You got it.
All right. So Lycos is kind of starting to turn into the fan favorite, it appears. I think he's just, again, there's more. We have so much storytelling that's based around what's coming around from the Natura overall art that are coming from the house of Lycos. So I think the way that we're trying to ground that is have Mars being introduced into a lot of it and being able to kind of balance out some of the wild and crazy nights that he is having being a vigilante and being a philanthropist, businessman, inventor. Like he's all over the place. But when you bring Mars into the picture and being able to ground her, that kind of centers the character a little bit better. But I think the introduction to him was very graphical. It was a unique take visually as a book because you're using Pierce's art style for it, which is very unique. He's a multimedia kind of artist, so it was very unique to use on that. And I think just from a story standpoint, he's a very captivating character and it's a very much a fan favorite for a lot of people.
So, like you mentioned, Lycos is a visual standout in terms of the art styles that we have that kind of populate the books. One of the things that I enjoy, I tell folks, I just got finished telling folks at the comic shop that I read comics for the boom bang pow. I enjoy the action and the stunts and the set pieces and the explosions and all that. And you get a lot of that with Lycos, and I think that is one of the standouts of that first issue, that issue 0. Going forward, I want to, and we kind of covered this in Natura issue 3, but specifically in the Lycos title, I want to be able to see more of Moses kind of speak, doing business, running or managing his his business, not just the business, but the impact of the business. Because of course he's always inventing things and having effects, and he's got these conglomerates that work everywhere. Like, what does that matter? How does that look on a daily basis? What does it sound like for him to manage these things and be a superhero on the side and have whatever is happening with Element One going on all at the same time? So yeah, I think that was what I'd like. That is what I'd like to see going forward. If there's any way to improve on that issue, I think more of Moses, because we get a lot of Lycos. I'd like to see a little bit more of Moses to balance that out. So that's the way I would.
I think I agree with you. Yeah, I agree with you. I think we are Lycos heavy. I think that you're hired, you got a chance to see him outside the suit just a little bit. But yeah, I mean, what's the business side of him look like? What's the business side of any guy that's trying to work double life? Like, what does it look like? I mean, we see it in Bruce Wayne's and the Tony Starks. Like, what does that look like for him? Like, so yeah, I think I'd be interested in seeing what that duality of that lifestyle looks like. So yeah, super cool.
What's next? Are you muted?
Are you muted? You might be muted.
I might be muted. So, as we wrap this part of the review up, I am going to say, hold your comics, and we'll be right back with part 2 of Coffee, Chicks, and Comics.